Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ailey. Today's video is going to be another installment of Beauty Battle. So in today's video, I'm going to be putting two palettes head to head, and these are going to be the James Charles palette and the 35B palette. I have wanted to do this since I seen this palette because obviously this is sort of like the infamous colourful palette from Morphe, so I want to see how this compares to the James Charles palette. So this is going to be an absolute nightmare because there is no room on my desk right now, but we're going to make it work. So I really want to do like a really green look, and he's only got two greens in his palette, but I'm hoping that I can make it work with that. The 35B has loads more greens, but it has greens that are very, very similar in shade. So this one's very similar to the lighter shade, and then this one is very similar to the darker shade. So what I thought I would do is we will do a swatch just to see how similar they are. Yeah, they're quite similar. They're not too far off. The one on top is the James Charles, the one on the bottom is the 35B. Yeah, so there's the other two there. So these are the four shades that I'm going to use. When they're on the eye, they probably won't be that much different from each other, but these are the ones that we're going to go with for now anyway. We'll see how we go on. So I'm going to zoom you in and we're going to do this step by step. Now, I have primed my eyes. As you can see, it's creasing already. I've primed with my MAC paint pot and Paint Early, as I always do. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this eye 35B and this eye the James Charles, I think. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lighter green shade and I'm going to put this really quite high in my crease. To switch out the colour, I'm going to use my shadow switch on this other side. This one is called Social Blade. Right off the bat, the James Charles side is more difficult to blend. I don't know why, because they're both over a sticky base. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to go in with a smaller brush. This wee one here. And I'm going to take the yellow shade from the 35B and I'm just going to pop this just on the very edge up here, like a tinge, and then the same with the James Charles palette. I have to say I prefer the colour of the one in the James Charles palette. I just like that it's a sort of brighter yellow. Okay, so now we're going to go in and I'm going to take the darker green shade. So we're going to do exactly the same on the other side with the other green. They look pretty similar. The only thing that I can say so far is the 35B is easier to blend. We're not really going, we're going a little bit by colour and a little bit by consistency, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, they both look fine. Okay, this is a new product to me. I haven't used this yet. This is the Cut Crease Canvas from Revolution. So if this goes horribly wrong, then it could be this thing's fault. Oh, crap. This is where we run into problems because there isn't another kind of similar colour, or is there? No. There's a sort of yellow gold that might work. Maybe we'll try that. The 35B palette is more of a matte palette. These are going to look nothing alike because there isn't anything like that in the James Charles palette, but we're just going to go with what we've got. Okay, so I'm going to go into Guac because it's the only kind of shimmery green in the palette. One is definitely more yellow. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish it up, throw on some lashes, throw on some mascara and stuff like that, and then I'll come right back and I'll tell you my final thoughts. Okay, so that is the rest of my makeup finished, and I think they look so similar. Yeah, I think they look so similar. So, out of a matter of interest, because that is obviously just the greens. It's just because I fancied doing a green look today that I decided to do this with the green shades, but let's just see how some of the colourful shades in this palette compare. Okay, so I'm gonna like scooch on over here. Right, so I'm gonna start from bottom right of the James Charles palette, which is Skip. Stunning, absolutely stunning shade. There's a pink in the 35B. It doesn't have a name, but it's ever so slightly different, but not a crazy amount. It's maybe got a slight more purple tone in it, but there they are. The next one I'm seeing that could be similar is Thinkity Drinkity. Okay, so I did this one backwards. This one is the 35B and this one is the James Charles palette. The one in the 35B is way shimmery, so I'm going to take the one from above it, which looks like it would be a better match, and it is way better. So that is that one there. So it's now these two. So this is the James Charles, that one. It's slightly darker, I would say. I'm like way out of shot. It's slightly darker, I would say, but very similar. Love that. And I love this shade. And then the sort of winey, plummy shade. Okay, so that one is definitely more sort of red than that one, but they're very similar. Escape, the purple, the darkest purple from the 35B. Now, this one has two possibles. I actually think they're both different. So that's the one from the James Charles palette, and these two are the purples. I think if you mix these two together, you might get this shade, but that's the two there. There is absolutely nothing like Artistry. It's such a beautiful shade. I'll actually swatch it with this hand just to show you. It's such a beautiful shade. There's nothing in this palette that compares to it. I don't think there's really that many shadows that would compare to it, to be fair. So we're going to go into the blues, and for the blues we have Cola, which is such a weird name for a blue. It's just a little bit lighter, I would say. I would actually say maybe going for the blue, the darker colour that's just underneath it. It's not quite the same tone, but it's similar. So that one's from the James Charles palette, it's Cola, and then the two blues from the 35B. Oh, the pink from the 35B and the one from the James Charles palette both stain, so that is worth noting. These two look so similar. So this one is Playground. Oh yeah, they're almost identical. So Playground and the blue from the 35B. So similar. And I don't think these are going to be similar, but these are the two that are sort of... So we've got James Charles, 35B, James Charles. These are sort of like the most similar, but they're just all shimmers. There's not really much of a tone similarity in them. Okay, so that is all the blues done. The greens we've just seen. Neutrals, there isn't much in the way of neutrals in this palette. It's full of pinks. and purples this palette, meaning the 35B. So I'm going to jump over onto the oranges and the reds. So first we're going to go for the bright orange. And the most similar shade in the palette is that one there. They're not the same. That one's more of a yellow tone. That one is more of an orange tone. There isn't really anything else that's more similar. The more corally one though, yeah, there we go. So that one's actually more similar to rusted. This is like really not the easiest way to do this. Surely there is an easier way to do this. So we have the red shade, which is You're Kidding, which I have to admit I do love. And the red in here. So the red in the James Charles palette is more of a true red, like he said he wanted. The one in the 35B is slightly more pink. Wait, did I do that one? Hold on, we're going back to purples just for a second. There we go, so that's one more. So that was single and the purple from the 35B. So that is pretty much it. I mean, is there a lot of similarities? Yes. If you're looking for like the more colourful shades and you already have the 35B palette, I wouldn't worry too much, especially with it selling out constantly. I wouldn't worry too much that you're not able to get your hands on it, because odds are the colours are in here. That is if you have this palette. If not, I think that that is a phenomenon. I mean, and you can see the quality is pretty much the same throughout. It's the 35B is fantastic quality. If you don't have the 35B, I would definitely recommend the James Charles palette. I know there's been so much controversy on it. It is difficult to work with. It is harder to blend. They do skip quite a lot. It's kind of one of those things where it's worth the problems that you have to endure to make it work. It is a shame, yeah, but I mean, if you're somebody who likes to do the simplest of makeup and go out the door, it's not going to be for you anyway. If you don't mind taking that little bit of extra time just to do a colourful look, but I mean, colourful looks take longer and take more effort anyway, so I suppose it shouldn't really matter too much. It could just be that the way they're formulated, they're just that little bit more difficult to work with. The other shadows in the palette are still as difficult to work with, but they're really nice and pigmented, and the colours are really nice. So as you can see, the colours, the slightly different tones in the colours, and I think that a lot of them are quite unique. And so yeah, I mean, take from it what you will. I think that my recommendation would be is if you're struggling to get your hands on, or you're struggling to afford the James Charles palette and you've got the 35B, you don't immediately need the James Charles palette. Especially with it being a colourful palette. If you're not going to use colourful shadows all the time and it's going to sit in your drawer until Halloween, there's absolutely no point in being in a rush to get it. But at the same time, I do think it's a brilliant palette. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. What do you think? Do you think that they turned out really similar? If you enjoyed this video or you found it somewhat helpful, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.